Yes, question, Raul?
So what do you feel about your character's background and something that's your relationship with your mother?
Oh yeah. That's a very good.
Well, first of all, I want to see the spin-off. Because that sounded delightful.
Let's get that started.
And if you do it, are you going to live tweet them? Because your live tweets are fantastic.
Thank you. I never used to do that live tweet until Brian started doing it, and I understood now what that was. It's about connecting with fans. And that's also what Comic-Con's about in general. But that's I think riding his coattails is the easiest way. I get to come along and make a joke of this. But he's such actual great information and script pages and blah blah blah. There. It's just it's a great way to interact with fans. But that's spin-off's happening. Scott's running it right now.
Nice, that's great. It's fantastic. I look forward to the spin-off.
Jimmy P and the Z.
Right now.
That's why I checked out for a bit. So did you see me check out? Yeah.
He does that when I talk, because it's just like, I got a very dulcet, raspy tongue.
Yeah, dulcet, raspy tone. Oh, that dulcet, raspy tone again.
It's hypnotic.
Hypnotic, dulcet, raspy tone.
Oh, can we talk about this show for a second?
Sure. What? Hannibal? Yeah. What's that show? All right.
How did Beverly's death affect your characters and will affect your characters going forward? Because usually lab rats aren't in a lot of danger.
No, they're not. It definitely made my character drink more off camera.
Your character.
I decided after Beverly's death that I would be hungover for the episode. That's my method. I'm a method actor.
Very method. When it comes to drinking, he's very method.
I think that the death of Beverly is probably the death that's affected the characters more than any death, obviously, ever has. But I think there's probably some tragedy in the background.
Yeah, and I think it's the thing that propelled us. I mean, that's when it became very personal.
Yeah.
And I think that's when the FBI started working outside the box a little bit, and they started doing it was kind of a secret operation that got everyone a little bit in trouble, and Cynthia Nixon had come in and spring the gates. And I think that'll happen even further in season 3 now that Hannibal has laid waste to Jack and Will, and that it becomes even more personal for us to catch him and punish him. I know that when we got Chilton,
very personal.
we really hated the shit out of him because we thought he had done Hetty, and now that when we get our hands on Hannibal, it's going to be he's still going to be terrifying, so we probably won't say very much to him, but inside we'll be personally very excited.
But when we tell people what we say, we'll say, so I told him. What did you really say? I went, I'm sorry.
I love the detail that your characters get very early on, particularly in Oof, which unfortunately then they didn't air. But having Jimmy, the alcoholic, I'm not recovering, was
That's
great.
like my favorite line in the whole for episode. I mean, the whole series for us too is that line.
That line,
I love that line.
Well, and then one of the things I found most interesting, I've been rewatching season 1 for my podcast, and Z seems to have really progressed because he starts out as a somewhat antagonistic force. He's the lead for Freddy, and he's like combating Will a few times early in season 1, and whereas he seems more, everybody's kind of come together more in season 2.
I think that arc absolutely. He starts off so threatened by Will, because I probably fancied myself the smartest guy, no offense, buddy, smartest guy in the crew until Will came along, and to the point where I was detrimental to the cases, where I was leaking information and anything to sabotage the case, and then it grew to just hating Will because I thought he was not right. I didn't think he was trustworthy. It became very much about the group and the cases and catching killers, and I thought that he was bad for FBI, and then it became that I had to suck it up and apologize to him in this last season, which I thought was a great way to play it. I mean, I still could have hated him. I still could have blamed him for Beverly's death. Brian had that option to keep playing that hate for forever, but to have it grow into something, and then maybe it continues to grow into an actual friendship, drinking buddies. Again, sorry. If Will asks for a drink, I might go with him. I'm just saying.
I'll drink you both under the table.
I understand.
Well, and you guys, unfortunately, we were saying on my podcast we wanted to see more of you guys in season 2 because cast is so impressive at times. Are there tools that you guys use to make sure that you're in those scenes and bringing character even to the smallest moment?
You mean like, what do you mean? You mean blackmailing them so that they write things for
I
us?
don't know how that works.
So you mean like, do we do things to make the scenes more indelible that aren't actually in the writing? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, what character, like, tools do you have?
Yes, we did discuss things. And actually, we mostly figure out what we're doing on the van ride day.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to not carve out moments, but to make what we're doing specific in a way where we're not that we're fully formed characters, and we're not just Rosencrantz and Guildenstern commenting on the side, or just an information machine. That we have moments of humanity, or whether that's a joke or an argument or nudging or whatever it is, that we are fully formed as everybody else in the show. And I think the writing and everybody involved in the show also does a great job in making us not a cog in some sort of procedural machine, because the show's not a procedural, right? So,
and we decided very early on certain things that I would be a little prissy, and
did we decide that, or were you just?
I just am.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a know-it-all.
And I was going to be a bit of a jerk because we just decided, as a character, I decided.
That he was, abrasive. And what else did we decide?
I was
that
Lawrence very raspy.
That Lawrence would be very intimidating.
Yeah.
We just decided.
We decided that.
And then
we decided that the day he yelled at us on camera, and then like pee came out a little bit. Then we decided, you know what, our character's going to be intimidated by him.
That's a good idea. But yeah, we do. We work out little things like, we're going to disagree over this sort of thing, and it makes them come alive.
I can, but I don't want to.
So your scenes look the most improvised in the whole show. It's like you're having a blast.
Yeah.
It's like an oasis in the whole show.
Yeah.
An oasis.
I
like that. Table 4.
From the non-native English speaker.
Exactly.
People. Okay. Thank you. Very good.
So
Showed y'all up.
Thank you, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, woof. I prefer your English. Let's keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So is it true you have room for improvisation and stuff?
I mean, again, I think we find places to really elaborate the minutiae of stuff, but the scripts.
There's like a few. There have been lines where we go.
Absolutely.
Let's
If they don't yell
we
cut
ask
right
if we
away,
can say
then
it.
absolutely we're yelling stuff. Fist bump was not in the script. I don't think our argument about stool sample. It just was the director was slow to get cut, to be honest. So we kept arguing, or we kept celebrating, or doing whatever. Yeah, that worked out. I can't believe
That's
they
one of
kept.
my favorite moments. They left that in.
Yeah,
and
but
me
there's
laughing
not,
at you.
There's a lot of respect for the writing on the show that it's really not necessary. I mean, the show is very tight, and the show doesn't want us to be doesn't want us to be these procedural characters.
Yeah,
or
we're not
these stock characters.
like that, because that's a real cliche. That's become a real cultural trope. Can I say trope?
Yes,
I can't say stereotype, but I had to make up for saying very good before, so I used trope.
I liked it.
But so we're not wacky, but we're amusing. But I think all people that are in that kind of a job have to use humor, whether they're like an emergency room surgeon or
I appreciate the
nursery school teacher.
Right. I don't know. That's good. But I appreciate the comment that it feels improvised. But generally, we just get to be a little looser than everyone else because we're not going like we're not closing our eyes and sweating over hallucinations in a corner. We get to actually be a little bit looser, so it feels that way. But it's really a testament to the show and the writing that and less to us. Not
Because if we really improvised, we'd
unusable. Are you hearing this? Are you hearing what we're saying right now? That it would be a lot of that, and everybody would change.
I have the power to ruin the show.
All right, guys.
Oh, sure.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the various things that you guys have to work with, the various bodies and things and setups?
Well, we took classes. We took a couple of days of classes on how to actually take fingerprints and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're gross dead bodies. It took a while to adjust. It's especially weird when it's not a dummy.
Yeah.
And you forget, and all of a sudden the actor who's naked on your slab breathes for a second. You're like, oh, right, you're not a fake thing.
And
You're
you're absentmindedly rubbing her breast.
That was Scott.
No, you did that once. No,
I did not do that.
There was, and you were like, I went.
I am offended at about the accusation. I would never.
Okay, it was me. It was the Crackler
This is
episode.
the jury. Table 4.
Remember that
This went very wrong.
And I realized that
Let's go back to Oasis and just cut there. And pretend like that was the end.
but I
don't remember any thyroid. I think I would remember.
But you remember, but the guy who played the kid that's sewn into the people in the silo. I remember, you might have told me to stop, and I was like picking up the Crackler, and we weren't shooting, and I was just kept picking at it, and I realized, and I think you may have said something, or he opened his eyes and was like, I'm nude, and you're touching me. And I realized that wasn't, but he was a lovely guy, and that's their fault for hiring him.
Sure. He's too nice. That's his problem. And you were also a little bit drunk.
I was a little drunk, and I was a little drunk, and I was attracted to him. And who knew that Crackler was my trigger?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks.